Hi, welcome to Ms. Cooper's art class. Today I'm going to be showing you some stippling exercises that you can do on your own. I'm using some Pigma Micron pens of various sizes, starting all the way up at 08, all the way on down to 005. I have my 02 right now. Basically, the idea is that you draw out a circle in pencil on your paper, and once you've penciled those in, you can add whatever design you want in the middle. Something simple, maybe focusing on line art. This is where you could do whatever you want. But what I'm doing are just some really simple leaves. Anybody could draw these. Maybe this is what you want to start out with. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to stipple inside this circle. I'm using my O1 right here. And I'm practicing spreading out my dots and then slowly bringing them close together. This is something that you'll see on any kind of object, anything making a shadow on the ground, on skin. So I'm practicing just blending from a light value to a dark value. And as I go, I'm changing sizes. Right now I'm using an O3. In case you didn't notice, I moved from that O1 to that O3. That O3 is going to be a bigger number. Now I'm on an O5. And what I'm doing is an approach where I've put in my light values so I don't accidentally darken them too much, which I am guilty of doing sometimes. And now I'm putting in my very darkest values, and I will bring those values together, working into some kind of middle. That is what works best for me. Maybe when you try stippling, something else will work better for you. And that's why you want to practice doing these exercises. I know I still get something out of these exercises every time I do them, even though I've done a lot of stippling, and it does take hours, so I really have spent a lot of time with it. But I do get something new every time I do this. Now I just switched sizes again to something a little bit smaller. I think what helps when I try to even out my dots is just using something a little smaller because it will fit in those little gaps in my stippling. I have a beginner stippling video where I talk about this just a little bit more, but you want to be careful placing your dots so that they land neatly in between your other sets of dots. It's not like drawing polka dots where they're evenly spaced apart, but rather you have to figure out the spacing as well as you can. I finished my other one, so now I'm moving on to a different idea. I'll show it to you again at the end of the video. What I'm doing this time is I'm adding the night sky, and I'm going in with a much thicker Pigma Micron pen for the dark top of the night sky, just to make it just that much darker. I drew a simple moon, some clouds, some little sparkle star kind of shapes in there. Again, stuff that's easy to draw, stuff that doesn't make me stressed. Things that I know don't have to be perfect because I'm really demanding a lot of technical skill from myself in spacing out my stippling. I'm doing something really exact there, so I don't want to do something exact for the rest of my doodle because I want these to be a good practice for my stippling, but I also want them to be relaxing for me. This video is sped up about 10 times faster than I was doing these. It took me somewhere between 50 to 60 minutes to do both of the drawings in this video. So really, I had a lot of time to just sit, relax, and draw dots on my paper. And my brain was still moving pretty fast and making a lot of decisions as I placed each dot, but it was in a very relaxing way. So I'm hoping that stippling is something that you could find relaxing as well. Notice what I'm doing here is I'm drawing different bands of stippling, kind of different stripes, because what I'll do is I'll blend them together later with one of my thinner Pigma Microns. I've been slowly changing my size of Pigma Micron as I go, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. You can see here that I'm starting to blend those different levels together, just kind of slowly, not with too much pressure. Every once in a while, what I'll do is I'll squint at my design and see if there's any sharp jumps or if it kind of just blends into a nice, like, kind of smooth gradient when I'm squinting my eyes at it. And that's usually a good test. The other thing you can do is take a picture of it or look at your drawing through a video camera, which I am constantly doing while I make these videos. And that helps you take a step back from your own drawing without having to physically step back or ask another person to look at your drawing for you. Ultimately, I decided I liked a little bit of a jump in value at the top, especially because this was a doodle and I didn't really want to put a lot of pressure on myself. I actually did these two drawings on a day when I was feeling a little stressed and I needed to relax, and at one point I just kind of did a kind thing for myself and said it was time to stop. I did do one third doodle though that you'll see at the end where I did some just kind of little Queen Anne's lace kind of flowers. So here you can see I'm touching it up before I do one last little doodle for the day just to calm down a little bit. If you are interested in learning some beginner stippling exercises, I have some other videos too, and I have a whole playlist if you would like to see how to do this if you're a very beginner. So now you can see there's my third little doodle. I just added a little bit of value, something gentle. Any of these could be used as doodles, or you could put them on the fronts of greeting cards, or even just kind of frame them and put them in your house if you're just looking for some really minimal art. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with my video. I hope you practice stippling, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care.